Hi everybody, how are you? It's Mike Andrew once again providing a short video with practical insights as it applies to business and leadership. I recently did a video where I just revisited 10 topics, randomly picked 10 topics, a quick review from the past. I followed that up with 5 more topics from the past. This time I'm going to pick 3 because I want to keep the video short. So let me just pick 3 and I'll continue to follow this pattern if the feedback continues to stay positive. Number 1, I've always found in my career that there's 2 types of people inside a company, inside an organization. Those with the employee mindset and those with the management mindset. If you're career-oriented, if you have career goals and ambitions, you gotta keep that management mindset, because the employee mindset, and this is okay, by the way, not everybody has a strong career ambition to be a vice president. But employee mindset tend to be those that they know the HR policies even better than a lot of the HR people. You know, they know exactly how many sick days they have, how many they have left, how many, in this day and age, telecommute days they have left, how many sick days they've taken and what their sick day, it's things like that. Whereas those with the management mindset, they don't even think about those things. They literally don't even think about them. And they don't even think about whether they took lunch that day, because they know that they're focused on their job and achieving and driving performance, achieving results. So they tend to elevate their role. They tend to elevate their thinking. If they're an individual contributor, they think like a manager. If they're a director, they think like a VP. They bring that executive perspective to distinguish themselves. They may work at night. They may respond to an email or a WhatsApp message at 9 o'clock at night. You know, takes them a minute. But they do beyond what's expected of them in the job, and that's what drives them to move their career forward. So employee mindset versus management mindset for those that are considering a management career. 2, listening. Really, really critical skill, because I always say not only is it a leadership skill, it's a life skill. Really important. You know, there's a whole book written called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. One of his 7 habits was about listening. And he referred to it as seek first to understand, then to be understood. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Make an effort to understand what the person's saying. We're all experts. We are all complete experts in knowing when we're being listened to. If we're talking to someone and they're finishing up a WhatsApp message or they're finishing up an email, we know that we don't have their full attention. So knowing how to listen by paraphrasing things like, so in other words, what I hear you saying is, you know, making an effort to understand what they're saying, reflecting the emotion. Wow, I can see why you're upset about this. Or, I don't blame you for being excited about this. Congratulations. And of course, the body language, the nonverbals. When I observe people in my coaching sessions, observing them running a meeting, I could tell if they're listening from their eyes and their head nods. You can see them zone right in. And a quick listening story. I had a consulting practice years ago for about 10 years. One of my biggest clients that I had came by accident. And a friend of mine had the client. He was he graduated with his doctorate in business from Harvard. He taught at some of the prestigious business schools. He was brilliant. He was the best case facilitator that I've ever seen. He would get executives in the room. They'd come, they having read this case study, and he would just draw them all in. He was a master. He was brilliant. Well, he had this 1-week program, and he had to miss one day because he had another commitment. And the client agreed to let me come in, but not for that one day. They wanted continuity, so I had to do the whole week. When the week was over, the client called me and they said, we want you to continue doing this program with us. Very lucrative. I said, I can't do that. You know, he's a friend of mine. They said, we know that, and we knew that you'd say that, but you know, honestly, we're looking to let him go, and we want you. And I said, why? Because he's the best I've ever seen. Why me? They said, you do one thing very well, Mike. You listen. You listen to the audience. You listen to us, our requirements and expectations. I'm not even in this guy's league, but because I listened well, I gained a very lucrative client. And of course, my friend was heartbroken, but we worked that through and he understood. The third thing I want to say is this about winning in business. There's a saying, if every company has a winning strategy, why doesn't every company win? Those of you that follow your sports teams, every year, at the beginning of the year, there's excitement. Winning. We're going to have a winning season. Your company, when they talk about their plans, winning strategy. Well, why doesn't everybody win? You know, it reminds me of that saying from a CEO of Campbell's Soup. In order to win in the marketplace, you must first win in the workplace. So it's getting your act together internally. It's about, why doesn't every company win? It's about out-executing your competitors every single day. Out-executing. And how do you out-execute? That's where leadership comes in. You know, making sure that everything's aligned, all the KPIs are aligned. And that's where talent management comes in, getting the right people to do, encouraging the right people. Roger Enrico, the former chairman of Pepsi, says, as chairman, I have two jobs. One is to grow the business. The second is to identify and develop the people to help me achieve objective number one. So it's about winning in the workplace in order to win in the marketplace. And I always like to say that strategy is all about execution, and leadership is all about results with integrity. And when you combine those two, you win, or you should win. Execution, out-executing your competitors every single day with good, solid leadership and talent. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.